In this episode of OG55, I am joined by the Italiano. We are discussing, in our opinion, a pretty disappointing rumor coming out of MiceChat in regards to where Coco might go and what's going on with Pandora coming to DCA. I don't know, y'all. We're going to talk about this article. It's pretty interesting. And now it is a rumor. It is a rumor. So I just want to make that very clear. But we're going to break it down, talk about it up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Also, George and I want to thank everybody, everybody on the OG55 crew wants to thank everybody for all their amazing support. We are growing really fast. We're almost to 6,000 subs, so it's an exciting time. But George, welcome back, sir.
Glad to be back. Glad to be having these in-depth discussions with you, especially since there's not really too much to report right now. I think once we get through the holiday seasons with Halloween and Christmas and what have you, I think by the first of the year and moving on, so on and so forth, then we should be getting construction dates and possibly time frames of when these projects will be opening. But until then, it's always a good time, reacting to other YouTube videos and articles that are posted online. So it's always a good time.
Absolutely. Where can the good folks at home find you on social media, sir?
As of right now, you could still find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also fuck me, on Instagram.
Did you say you could also fuck me? Is that what you said, George? Or was that, did you hiccup in the middle of...
I hiccuped when I said find me, yes.
I was like, oh, geez, family show, George. Come on now. Let's keep it professional, brother. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You can also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And, of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Sticky. All right, here we go. Let's break down this MiceChat article. I got to admit, I was hella triggered. I was so triggered. Not at MiceChat. I mean, MiceChat's great. I love Dusty. It's all good. But like, it's more about just the rumor itself that if Disney's considering this, I'm mad. I'm super triggered. I'm about to get real toxic, y'all. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Okay, so this is courtesy of MiceChat. I do suggest everybody go check them out. They are awesome people over there, MiceChat. Andy Castro, by the way, who does their Dateline Disneyland updates. I mean, the best Disneyland photographer in our community. I mean, absolutely insanely good pictures. So they do great work. But this is the latest article from MiceChat. Disneyland update, Project Switch-A-Roo, construction and price hikes. So I'm going to be linking this down below. Make sure you check them out after the video and support them. They're awesome. All right. So here we go, George. You ready?
Let's do this.
All right. Change is a constant. Recent changes at Imagineering appear to have resulted in shifts to the announced projects coming to the Disneyland Resort. While the new Avengers e-ticket seems to be still on track for construction to start next year, we're starting to hear from people inside the company that the Avatar and Coco projects may be in flux, okay? We expect both to still happen, but likely in locations other than originally planned. Now, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, this is concerning to me already out the gate. It took us how long to get the Avengers stuff up and going? We finally have that. Now we have these other two exciting announcements with Avatar and Coco, and now we're going to play the same funny business and the same kind of games with these two projects. I am frustrated already. This is making me mad. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. It's not that long. I'm going to kind of set the table, and then we're going to talk about this in depth. We've been told that the teams measured crowd levels in Pixar Pier and determined that a major new attraction in the tight confines of the pier's far side might cause a bottleneck and difficulty queuing guests. So that's true. And I think our friend Bricky said the same thing in one of his recent videos that we reacted to, by the way. You put Coco And what they're describing as a Pirates of the Caribbean style boat ride. It'd be very popular. In an already very crowded pier, it's going to be a problem with the congestion, which is why I've never really been supportive of the pier idea anyway. Aside from the crowding and the bottlenecks, I just feel like when you put something really heavily immersive in an area that's like this, pretty light on the theme, it's a little jarring in my opinion. But we'll continue. And it says here, as a result, it was suggested that Coco be moved to Hollywoodland, which would not only allow Hollywood Boulevard and the animation building to remain, but also the rerouting of the red cars if budgets allow. The upside is that Monsters, Inc. would be saved. Yay, right? As a Coco attraction would take the spot next door where Hollywood and Dine was once located. Okay, we're going to break that down with the maps in a second. The project shift would also allow DCA to retain all of its current attractions while still adding new ones, meaning an increase in attraction capacity instead of expected loss if Avatar consumed all of Hollywoodland. Okay, here's the thing. If you throw Coco into the Hollywood and Dine building, which is right here, the former Hollywood and Dine building, which is right here, not a big amount of space, you guys. I don't even know if it could even fit in there, to be honest with you. But that's what they're saying it's going to go. Is right here. Okay, it's a Band-Aid. I want bold ambition to come to DCA. You know what? I get it. Change is scary. Oh my gosh, we might lose a whole land that opened with the park. Yes, that's scary. You know what, though? I welcome that. I want this park to improve. I want this park to be more in line with what you find over at Disneyland. And I'm sick and tired of just Band-Aids over stuff. This is lazy, you guys. I hate this rumor. And then in the article, they say, well, the good news is, we can save Monsters, Inc. Who's trying to save Monsters, Inc.? I'm not. It's a retheme of an old ride that failed. No one wants that. Look, sacrifice Monsters, Inc., okay, and you put the giant Pandora e-ticket in there, and you already got more capacity than the Monsters ride. I'm certain of it. And you have an area that's more in line with what people expect from the name and the brand Disney. This is a Band-Aid. I hate this idea. George, what say you, brother?
Now tell us how you really feel.
I know, dude. I can't stand this idea.
Yeah.
Now, Bricky had a good idea where he was talking about transforming that whole back area into a Mexican village.
See, that's completely different.
That's different. Yeah. So you go down Hollywood Boulevard, you make a left, say like on Olvera Street or something, and then you go into that little courtyard, and it's all Mexican architecture and what have you. And the Coco ride is amongst all that. That's amazing. But that's not what this article is saying. This article is saying, let's just throw it in the Hollywood and Dine building.
So here's my take on it. If Hollywoodland in general right now is an eyesore, it is one of the last, aside from Grizzly Peak, but Grizzly Peak is at least appealing to the naked eye. Hollywoodland is not. Like, it is like definitely screams DCA 1.0, right. Especially that backlot area. There's like nothing going on back there. So yes, to throw in a brand spanking new ride into a very old, battered section of the park, into a building that, I'm sorry, it doesn't even seem like you could even put a C or D ticket in there.
This is the building right here. It looks, honestly, at least from the aerial shots, smaller than what they have over here for Monsters.
It just doesn't go right. Plus, Disney is also looking into expanding out this section into the bus load and unload area. So if they were to keep everything on brand of what it's supposed to be, what are they expanding it out to?
Well, they wouldn't. I mean, according to this article, you wouldn't expand into the bus load area because they're keeping Monsters, thank God, right? So the Monsters building is right here. How do you expand?
Yeah, and take it or leave it, of no matter how much that a person may like or dislike, just like you, OG, about Pixar Pier, is the fact that the Pixar IP is generated over there. So you have Pixar Pier, you have Cars Land, which is absolutely amazing. It's the best land in the whole entire park, in my opinion. And now you're going to have another section where if you possibly keep Monsters Inc. and now you're going to put Coco in there, that's 3 areas that have Pixar all over the place. You might as well turn DCA into just a Pixar themed park.
Yeah, I don't even have to necessarily. I don't necessarily need Coco in Pixar Pier, but you know what? If you took down the boardwalk area, I mean the I'm sorry, what's that? What's that called? The Paradise Garden area.
Paradise Gardens, yeah.
And the Goofy Sky School garbage and all that stuff,
Right.
and you put in a great little Mexican village. I said it so many times. This isn't like rocket science. I don't know why Disney can't really figure this out. You put an awesome Mexican village in there with like cool little winding roads, outdoor vendors with all the great food, right? Mariachis, and amongst all that, you have your Coco Dark Ride in there, right?
And it's adjacent to the pier, so it not necessarily you're putting it in the pier, but at least it's in the same.
It's in the same vicinity. It's next to the pier, just like Cars Land. So your Pixar stuff's on that side. Then you put Avatar over here in Hollywoodland. You get rid of Hollywoodland. There's one ride in there basically in Hollywoodland. One freaking ride, Monsters. And nobody's clamoring to keep Monsters. It's first of all, the facade on that attraction looks so cheap. Okay. And it's an outdated, like 20-year-old attraction. So we're gonna keep that. That's what this is all about, keeping that. Like that's a big, oh man, thank God we're keeping Monsters. No, let's have a little ambition with DCA. Let's do something bold here. You know, I know a lot of fans were complaining about, oh, what's going to happen to the California theme when Pandora moves in? But you know what? I'd rather have those problems than have Band-Aid cheap fixes. This is a cheap fix. It really ticks me off. I'm telling you. I told you I was getting toxic. I told you. But it also means a large new plot of land needs to be found for the Avatar project, and that might need to wait for the 3rd park expansion, expected to be in the area around the Disneyland and Pixar Place hotels. So not only now are we going to shoehorn Coco into the Hollywood and Dine area, if it can even fit, okay? Tomorrow said this is a Pirates of the Caribbean style ride. I don't know how it's going to fit over there. It doesn't seem like enough room, but okay. But now we're gonna have to wait until Disney decides to build a 3rd park, and they're going to shoehorn the 3rd park into the area across the way where Pixar Place and Disneyland Hotel sit. So everything about this rumor, and this is why I'm so mad about it, devalues every single project. So you don't do
it's like one thing, and it's like, okay, I really don't like this idea, but I like all these other ideas. Like, there's not one piece of this article. I'm so very sorry, Dusty. I love you, man. Mice Age, you guys rock, but I'm sorry. Like, there's not one piece of this rumored news that is
good news for me
in my mind.
No, there's nothing good, because so what are you're going to put the park over there? Why would you have 75 acres with a Toy Story lot just waiting to be used? So you're going to ignore that, and you're going to cram it in between all these hotels. And so that way you annoy hotel guests, because now it's a pain in the ass to get to your hotel, because now a theme park is interwoven between the mix. Now you landlock DCA. Now there's nowhere to expand for DCA, because Simba would be part of this new 3rd park. So now DCA is stuck with whatever land they have. In order to get anything new in DCA in the future, you'd have to demolish and replace, because Simba lot could no longer be used for DCA. Why would you landlock DCA like that and put the 3rd park there over in Simba and by the hotels when you have 75 acres in the Toy Story lot? So
it's land that they already have. They don't have to acquire the land. All they have to do is rezone. But
it's already rezoned.
Is it already? Right. It's already.
Yeah, they already approved it. It's done.
Right, it's already approved. So all they have to do is just get like all the logistics, underway, like making like for entranceway and
right.
Exit and what have you. But when is Disney, especially for Disneyland, ever going to have that big chunk amount of land ever again without needing to purchase anything, even if they could get it in that manner? It's theirs. It's theirs. They can use it.
You have 75 acres, but you're going to cram and shoehorn a park in between 2 hotels right off of downtown Disney? What a mess.
Not to mention those 2 hotels. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people can argue and say, Okay, well, they have a hotel that's connected into Fantasy Springs and Tokyo Disney Sea. Here's the thing. They built the hotel in mind with Fantasy Springs, and they have another hotel that's in mind with Tokyo Disney Sea. You are going to be putting a brand new theme park, whatever the theme may be, circulating around two hotels. One that is outdated, let's be honest. They just started updating it, with the Disneyland hotel with the DVC, but you could kind of still tell it definitely needs a lot of work. And another hotel, the Pixar Place hotel, that should just be demolished completely. But you're going to build a brand new park around those two hotels. That is going to be ugly. I'm sorry, that is not going to look right.
Right, and you also kill the Disneyland expansion this way, because this park would take up Simba Lot, which kills DCA's expansion possibilities. It would wean and be trickled and all through here, and then it would take up Disneyland's expansion too. Why would you do that? You have the Toy Story lot to build a new park. It doesn't make any sense. You screw DCA over. You Band-Aid Hollywoodland without fixing anything in Hollywoodland. It's frustrating, you guys. I get it. Change is scary. I get it. You might lose monsters. You might even lose the Hyperion. Oh, well. We need ambition in this park. We can't afford a quick, cheap fix. This is a quick, cheap fix. And I can't support it. I'm sorry. This rumor, I hope Disney, if you're watching, I hope you don't do it. I really hope you don't do it. This is a bad, bad idea.
And also, too, hypothetically, knock on wood, hope it doesn't, but say Avatar going into the Simba parking lot for a third gate is what's going to happen, and that's what it's going to be. If Disney is going to be working on the footprints of DCA first, before they even touch Simba parking lot, that means Avatar is going to be heavily delayed. And DeMauro had already said all these projects, when he announced them at D23, are going to be within the first 5 years of the 10. If they do that, not only would that be screwing up the first 5 years that he had already promised, Avatar is going to be delayed even beyond the 10 years.
Oh, yeah, dude. If what MiceChat's reporting and Disney's going to do this, you're not looking at Avatar for another 15 years. They're not going to do this third park anytime soon, you guys. I'm not saying it's going to be 40 years out. I think we'll probably get it before then, but it's certainly not going to be within 5 years.
And I don't think James Cameron's going to be too happy about that.
I don't think he's going to want to shoehorn and cram that thing in over there. I think it's lazy. It's lazy. It's bad design. It causes logistical and operational headaches. And for what? Why are we trying to shove something in there when you have the Toy Story lot? So the article goes on to say here, overall, we hope this shift sticks. Respectfully disagree, MiceChat. I really hope it doesn't, but I respectfully disagree, as it would mean the preservation of Monsters, Inc.
Why? What? Like, it's almost like this whole entire article is to save Monsters, Inc.
But like,
whoever really said they wanted to save Monsters, Inc.
What fan is saying that we should save Monsters, Inc.? So let's delay the heavily immersive, one of the pinnacles, one of the greatest lands that Imagineering has ever done was Pandora over there in Animal Kingdom. Let's delay that. Who needs that in DCA? As long as we keep Monsters, Inc. I don't care about Monsters, Inc. Bulldoze it. Let's get Pandora in there. If you have to change the theme of DCA to make Pandora work, that's fine. It's a re-theme of a failed attraction. Why is there this big push to save it?
Yeah. It's like, okay, so all this, like, even for Coco, you're going to cram Coco into the Hollywood and Dine if it's even possible. But you know what? That's okay. It's a brand new ride, the first ever Coco ride in a Disney park. But we don't care how that ends up because we still have Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue.
Thank God. Yeah, And then it says here, it would mean the preservation of Monsters, Inc. and Hollywood Boulevard. Again, nobody cares about the preservation of either of those things. No one's asking to keep Hollywood Boulevard. No one cares about it. And hopefully the red cars. Yeah, there are fans wanting the red cars, including myself. But some things, you're just going to have to, when you invest money into these parks and you advocate for change and growth, some things you might lose some things you love. Okay. I love the red car trolley. I've been a huge advocate of the red car trolley. I'm willing to lose the red car for DCA to become a better park, a more immersive park, a park that is more in line with the Disney brand. Band-aiding Hollywoodland and just shoehorning the Coco ride into that little corner is not it. That's lazy, zero ambition. It doesn't address the Hollywoodland problem at all. It doesn't. It makes no sense to me. And it says here,
and as you said earlier, with all these projects, that would kind of expand out Avengers Campus with the 2 attractions, Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab.
Right.
Coco into the Hollywood and Dine. Okay, hold off on Avatar
until God knows how long.
Put that over into the Simba parking lot, which supposedly is going to be the 3rd gate. And then, as you said, there goes DCA. DCA would then literally stay exactly the way it is, the same amount of acreage, no change. And again, and then people better not bitch and complain when they say, oh my gosh, they're getting rid of Grizzly Peak. How dare they? Well, what would you want Disney to do?
What do you want them to do? If they do this plan, all you're ever going to get with DCA is bulldoze and replace, because they're taking up that symbol lot to shoehorn a 3rd park. So not only do you devalue DCA and limit DCA's growth potential, but you're also making the 3rd park shittier.
Not to mention, once that is done and they're going to have to replace, guess what they might replace? Monsters Inc. So you're getting rid of Monsters Inc. anyway, but you're landlocking the park to never expand. That's worse. It's worse.
It doesn't make sense, you guys. So it says here, hopefully this project relocation, if it happens, will also address the empty Stage 17 building and lackluster PhilharMagic attraction. It would certainly make Hollywoodland a more exciting destination, and we have a feeling most of you are more excited about Coco and are willing to wait for Avatar. But see, honestly, respectfully, MiceChat, no. I want both. I'm excited for Avatar. I have been excited for Avatar. I want DCA to have immersive experiences. I don't want Band-Aid fixes in Hollywoodland. I don't care about monsters. I don't care about preserving that Hollywood backlot theme. None of that matters to me.
And honestly, I really never heard anyone going one over the other. I've just heard people just saying, we're excited for Avatar, we're excited for Coco.
Yeah, and this rumor doesn't even do Coco justice. You're shoehorning it in this little area right here. You're not even doing it you're not even doing Coco right.
No.
Every single element of this rumor, like I said before, devalues every Pandora. Pandora suffers for it because it's going to be in that weird 3rd park that's woven between the hotels. You landlock DCA. You shove Coco into an area probably too small, and you don't really address the Hollywood backlot problem. A lot of the Hollywood backlot problem isn't just about rides; it's also about aesthetics. It's ugly.
It is,
and no one wants it. So why are we trying so hard to save it?
I don't see anybody when I'm at the parks. The backlot is probably like one of the sections that I hardly see anybody back there unless they're going into Monsters Inc. But it's because that's the only thing that's back there. You take that out there and you put Pandora in there, I guarantee you that part of that section of the park will be doing gangbusters.
You put one of Imagineering's greatest feats, which is Pandora, a version of that in the sister park to Disneyland. That's amazing. No. But let's forego that. None of us care about that. Let's worry about saving the ugly backlot and Monsters Inc. That's priority number 1. Avatar can wait. Oh my God.
But as you said too, that also affects Disneyland's expansion.
It affects Disneyland's expansion too. You totally kneecap Disneyland's expansion because you need that 3rd park to have all that land. Why are we doing this? Why are we kneecapping the 2 existing parks when you can just build your 3rd park and Toy Story lot? It makes no sense. And again, this isn't directed at MiceChat. They're just reporting a rumor. I just want to make that very clear. I'm frustrated at the rumor itself. I'm frustrated that this is even they're even entertaining this bullshit at Disney.
And Disney better not comply to what these rumors are, because I'm sorry, that would be the biggest, most dumbest mistake that they would ever make.
It's not, it doesn't work.
And then everything that they did to get Disneyland Forward online would have been in vain.
What was the point? Because you're not even going to use the bus load unload area if we're going to save Monsters Inc. You're not going to expand out into that. So what's the point? I mean, yeah, you get Simba Lot with Avatar, but it's horrible.
And
it's
that
horrible.
ends up screwing up the Eastern Gateway.
That's what I'm saying. That whole back bus load unload area and that whole thing would be. I mean, how do you expand? You got Monsters Inc. sitting there. We got to save it. I don't know. For me, I'm really triggered by this rumor. Like I said, Ricky had a great idea, turning that backlot area into a Mexican village, and Coco's incorporated in that, which means removing Monsters Inc., which means removing the ugly sound stages, reimagining that whole back area, and even expanding out into the bus load unload. That's
right.
That's what I want to see if we're going to do something like that.
And then if they want to move Pandora over into the Simba parking lot, that's fine, but let that be part of the expansion of DCA for the Disneyland Forward.
Right, because if you don't use Simba for DCA now, and it goes to a third park, like we said, the whole show, DCA has nowhere to go. So what's going to happen in 20 years when they need to produce new attractions at DCA? Well, we might have to get rid of Soarin'. Well, we might have to get rid of Grizzly because you don't have anywhere to expand. There's nowhere to go. So
and then again, eventually it will hit Monsters.
Yeah, and Monsters is going to go anyway. That's the thing. And ride count for the sake of ride count, and the article says, well, it keeps DCA's ride count. Okay, but I'd rather have less stuff, and stuff that we do have is more in line with what we expect from a premium brand like Disney. I don't care. I don't need 1,000 rides here. They could pack the whole park with 1,000 carnival rides, and you can have a ton of rides. I don't want that. I want quality. I'd rather have 3 rides that blow your mind than 15 that look like they're from the amusement park down the road.
Not to mention, we're getting an extra attraction in Avengers Campus, which none of us were prepared that we were even getting that. So that's a good thing. With Avatar, they just announced the boat ride that's based off of the Shanghai Pirates, but technically, there's rumbles in the jungle that there's going to be 2 attractions. I seriously doubt they're going to build a whole entire land just for 1 ride. So that's going to add an additional ride there too. So that's an extra one for Avengers. That's an extra one for Avatar. You're putting in Coco, and you're just removing Monsters. So when you remove Monsters, put in Coco, and then you're adding 2 more. So DCA is still ahead of the game. You're still ahead of the game.
Monsters doesn't bring much to the equation for DCA. It's not a really popular attraction. You can go on that ride at any given day. 15.
And it constantly breaks down.
It's cheap looking from the outside. It's not wildly popular.
And they more so did that because they had to get rid of the Superstar Limo because that attraction was
right. Exactly. This was a Jay Rizzullo project, I believe, and it's fine. It worked for the time, but I don't think anyone really I don't think there's fans that are clamoring to keep Monsters Inc. I'd rather them get rid of it, make DCA and that whole backlot something else like Pandora, and then we can give our friends over in Florida the animatronics from Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue. We can give them some animatronics for their new attraction, their new coaster. So Florida wins out and DCA wins out, and we get a heavily themed thing. That boat ride that they want to build for Avatar probably cycles more people through than Monsters Inc. would.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're not losing capacity by putting Avatar in there at all, especially if they have 2 rides there.
Yeah, they're actually losing capacity if they don't put it in.
If they keep Monsters. I don't know. It's. I'm telling you, this rumor, I hate it. I'm sorry, I hate it. Disney, please do not do this rumor. Please do not do this. This is a terrible idea. And then we're gonna have to wait 10, 15 years or more now for Avatar. They gave us all that concept art.
Would start losing interest in it because it's taking too long. People were starting to get that way with the Avengers e-ticket
and Tron. And all of a sudden, now you're gonna make us wait 15 years, or whenever you decide to get around to making a third park to give us Avatar after you just announced it at D23 to be done by the end of the 5th year. What a shit show! They better not do this, George.
They can't afford it, and especially under Tomorrow's watch, he can't afford that.
No, this is bad. This is the most boneheaded thing to save an underwhelming dark ride and an area that's arguably worse than Tomorrowland. I don't know. And you're gonna downgrade Coco because you're shoving it in that little spot. It needs more room than that. I assure you, what they want, at least from Tomorrow's description of a Pirates of the Caribbean style boat ride, you need more room than that Hollywood and Diamond.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what are they going to do? Just go around in a circle? Like literally, like that's as much as room as you're probably ever going to get with something like that. But yeah, even our good friend Slimer, when he was out at DCA for the first time, he went through every land and he said, "This is so immersive. I could see why a lot of people are saying they do love DCA." And then he saved Hollywoodland for last, and he went, "Wow, that was completely underwhelming." You know, out of all the, so even a newbie like Slimer, who was never in DCA, spotted that out, that Hollywoodland does not fit the rest of the park.
It doesn't. And I want Coco to have some sort. I want it to feel a little more organic. And I think that's my big issue with the pier location and with Hollywoodland. I would like Coco. I know they're not going to build a Coco land, but I would like it to have a little bit of a courtyard with a Mexican, maybe a little courtyard village. I want it to feel like you're in Mexico. I want it to feel like it's a love letter, right?
Right.
Shoving it into Hollywoodland because it was a movie, you know, or shoving it into the pier because, hey, it's Pixar, I think does that franchise and that ride a disservice.
I do agree with you. I really do. However, if I had to pick the lesser of the two evils, I would rather it go into the pier than shoehorn it into that damn little box that they call Hollywood and Dine.
Yes, because at least with the pier, you're still getting Pandora. You're still getting this. You're not you like that would put Avatar on ice for like a decade or more. Who wants that? To save monsters? Are you kidding? No way.
I seriously doubt Disney's going to do that.
I do too. But I mean, who knows, you know, but Disney, if anyone from Disney's watching, please reconsider. This is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. But George, any final thoughts before we skedaddle?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I'm still very excited for the promising upcoming projects on the horizon. But Disney has to play it smart. They have to really consider where everything is going. And to be quite frank, even though they made all these announcements at D23 and they are confirmed and shovels are in the ground and Earth is being moved and they're turbocharging, and this is all going to be done within the first 5 out of the 10 years with the $60 billion investment, I still truly don't feel 100% that Disney knows where any of these projects are officially going.
No, I agree with you on that. And there's only a couple spots you could put Avatar. It's either going to be the Simba lot or it's going to be Hollywoodland.
Yeah.
You know, personally,
the question is, based off of this rumor, if it does go into the Simba parking lot, is it going into the Simba parking lot as a DCA expansion, or is it going into the Simba parking lot as a potential third gate? Which, I'm sorry, that just doesn't seem cohesive enough for me. That if you're going to interwoven it into with the Disneyland Hotel and Pixar, what is it, Pixar Place Hotel?
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Absolute. It's poor planning. It's bad operations. You cram all that stuff in there. You're gonna have a park, 2 hotels, and it butts up against downtown Disney. You know what a mess that's gonna be?
They were talking about security checkpoints just to get into the Disneyland Resort in general with the Eastern Gateway. They're gonna need security checkpoints all over the place.
Yeah, it's horrible. Oh, George. Well, where can the good folks at home find you on social media, sir?
You could currently find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And, of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Comment down below. I know you all at home have thoughts on this. And, hey, maybe you think that George and I are nuts. Maybe you think we're off base. You know, if we are, comment. We would love to hear your viewpoint on it. I think
you'll just be wrong.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. No, we do welcome all opinions, but you know, I just feel like this sucks all the ambition out of everything. It puts Avatar in the back burner indefinitely. It keeps all the stuff that's hideous and
injustice for Coco.
It shits on Coco because then it's like, you know, now you're trying to shove it into a spot that's probably too small. Every single element of this is bad news for me personally. And you know, everybody at home, you know me. I'm not a negative Nancy kind of guy. Okay, I'm not. I can usually still see the silver lining in most things. This is a terrible, terrible idea. So we'll see. But if you think it's fantastic, we would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG50.